It's a quantum leap back in this week's episode, so it's no wonder why it feels somewhat slowed. Having flashbacks to Identity Crisis here makes me wonder if I have something to fear. Why does Archer start to look like a Neanderthal? Doesn't really matter. Extinction is no cure-all. I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
And this is From There to Here. Oh, you thought that sucked, huh? I didn't get anything from you. Nothing.
This is not your greatest effort.
Okay, fine.
Maybe you should put more effort.
Okay, this is Season 3, Episode 3, Extinction, and according to the IMDb, this is what it's about. Archer, Reed, and...
Nothing.
Archer, Reed, and... I really wish it did say that on IMDb. Not just a blank, but it actually said nothing. Archer, Reed, and Sato are transformed into aliens while visiting a planet. On the IMDb, what do you think this is rated?
6.7.
It is a 6, I believe. I think I just glanced it. Yeah, it's a 6 flat. Is that the lowest? I think that's the lowest now.
Really?
That's lower than Rogue Planet and Terra Nova.
Oh, see, they're just not even trying anymore.
This wasn't as bad. It was bad, but it wasn't as
yeah, it wasn't as bad as those.
Not. No. Okay, so what do you have?
Not much.
Not surprised.
Around 4 million viewers watched Extinction on first broadcast.
4 million disappointed viewers.
3.5 million of which were disappointing. But critical reception was mixed. Although the actors who underwent additional makeup were praised, the plot was found to be similar to previous episodes in the franchise, and the ending was considered poor. Also, where is it? This was the first episode of the series following the title change from Enterprise to Star Trek Enterprise. And so it was the first time the new title card appeared. Also, Extinction was dedicated to Jerry Fleck, who appeared at the end of the episode before the credits. He had died in his sleep during filming of the episode Twilight and was working on pre-production for North Star.
Oh,
I would make a joke, but that seems like really inappropriate.
Yeah, it does now.
Yeah. Like I want to, not about him as a person.
No.
I know I want to make a joke, a Star Trek joke, but anywho, yeah. So,
where to start with this one? Oh man, it's a slog.
Yeah, this episode was shale.
Yeah, I was thinking of that word as well. Very, very shale.
Well, you know, I think I said this to you at the end of our last episode, where I pointed out they're 3 episodes into their major Xindi arc, and they are already off course.
Yeah, and we didn't mention last week, or maybe we did for episode 1 since it was a couple of months ago and we can't remember.
Right.
But I mean, for us, not in continuity of the show. But they have their war room or their tactical room for tracking the Xindi, whatever that's, and it's very unimpressive.
Very unimpressive.
It's just a very dark room with some monitors.
With some TVs in it. And there's never anyone in it.
The lunar base in Airplane, the sequel, looked far
bustling
better.
hive of activity compared to this.
And the way they went, shh, to open the doors. No bridge, just a tower. No, it says no tower, just a bridge, sir. Okay, anyway. There is one moment where it connects to the plot overall, to the season-long plot, and that's in that war room where they're seeing another species, and it's the ones that have white hair. I don't know what their name is. What they end up,
the white coats, or I don't know.
Something. What they ultimately call them, I don't know. I know there's the insectoids, the aquatics.
The aquatics, the almost humans.
You can tell because of how they look.
You can and the almost humans and the furry ones.
They're the furry ones.
The ones that they saw.
Yes, they're the furry ones.
The Sasquatches.
Which, yes, that's better. The Sasquatches. And it happens in the first scene?
Yeah, I think so. I think pre-credits.
No, that was after the credits.
Oh, well.
I think. But before credits, we get the... Did you already forget what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, I almost did too. We get the teaser of
of Tosk running from the
what looks
Breen.
to be Tosk running from the Breen, but it's not either, because if it was, it would have been much more exciting.
Yeah.
No, it was some guy running from other guys who are wearing biosuits, and he gets burned alive,
flamethrowed.
Which makes me wonder, like, why do they have to do that?
I was wondering that myself. I mean, just
What?
killing them, maybe the virus stays in there, but if you burn them, maybe that kills the virus.
I guess maybe they don't have vaporizing technology.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
not vaporize. Vaporize. Yes, they haven't developed that, but Jack Black did. So
Right. And
I guess they're technologically behind. That happens, and he screams in agony, and it's like, "Ooh, what's this?"
right.
Doesn't really matter.
Did nothing for me.
Was that the most interesting moment of the episode? I can't say. I don't know if there really was something I could label as interesting.
I would say the most interesting part of the episode was where Trip went to Paul's quarters for his massage, and
Sure.
her her pajama bottoms were curiously low on the hip.
Well, they always are.
Oh yeah,
And she heads up. She always shows her midriff.
yeah, and it's like, okay,
What for?
I understand that you're doing this as a favor to him, but do you have to be scantily clad? Can't you be in your outfit?
It's so bizarre because Vulcans, we've never seen them as scantily clad.
No, I
Have we?
know. Until
Did
Enterprise.
T'Pring
Yes.
dress that way?
Well, I was just going to say, in the new Star Trek show, The Strange New Worlds,
Uh-huh.
T'Pring shows up.
Okay.
And that's not how Vulcan girls dress. She's insanely good looking.
Okay.
And they dress her accordingly.
Mhm.
I want to say the first or second time we see T'Pring is when Pike interrupts Spock and T'Pring mid almost coitus.
Mhm.
And you're just like, this feels wrong. This is not how we should see Vulcans.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
And the T'Pring actress, like I said, Jolene Blaylock is very attractive. This woman makes Jolene Blaylock looks like a next door neighbor. I mean, she's just freakishly good looking, and it's hard. It's distracting. Like, her looks are so good that it's distracting.
That's it.
And the outfits they put her in are distracting. And so, seeing T'Pol in this, it's like, well, I'm not paying attention to anything in the scene because I'm just looking at her.
So yeah, how did we get to this? Oh yeah, so we were talking about the
Something
neuropressure.
interesting.
The neuropressure scene. You thought that was the most interesting.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sadly.
Sure, I suppose. I mean, those two actors together, and the characters they play, more or less, I find to be an interesting thread of season 3 and season 4.
Yeah. I agree.
And this is just the start of it.
Right.
I really wish it wasn't under such a pretense as Vulcan neuropressure.
Right.
It's very silly, and you're right. Like, why does she have to be dressed like that? There's really no reason. Why
I know, for the love of heavens. In Voyager, when Kes went to Tuvok to do Vulcan meditation to help her.
Yeah, he didn't say,
abilities.
"Okay, Kes, now you have to take your shirt off."
He didn't say. He didn't say, "Well, it's off duty hour, so I'm going to be wearing jeans and a tee."
And please, would you put this oil on me?
Yes, I mean, come on. She would not do that.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Vulcan. What does this have to do? Just quiet and do it.
Yeah. Don't question me.
That is illogical.
Why am I the one being naked? It's just how it is. Helps me focus.
Right. Yeah. So the scene is very short.
Yeah.
And he ends up giving her not prunes.
No, he gives her a peach.
The peach. There you go. It's a peach. And it was a P word.
It's a it was like in a hermetically sealed thing. So he brought it from Earth.
I think that'll come back later, maybe.
Yeah. You think?
And it does. So this is them bonding, and fine. It doesn't really have anything to do with the episode.
Right.
Its main plot, and thank God. Well, except it ties back in at the end.
Right.
The main plot itself, I remembered it was a stinker. You did too. We talked about that last week, and it definitely is.
Yeah.
It's a stinker. Why would anybody bother to pretend to be cavemen after Brendan Fraser's performance in Encino Man? I really don't understand.
Yeah. I felt the whole time this episode was what would happen if the videotape of the Next Generation episode of
Identity Crisis
went on for another 45 minutes, and some
this
other
is all the
crew
cut scenes from
came
Identity
to rescue
Crisis.
their people, and they're like, this is hopeless.
Yeah, this doesn't work.
This doesn't work at all.
Yeah, maybe we should make it so we can't see them. Yeah, that works better. Yeah. So it's completely. You
This
said
was the most interesting Linda Park has been in the series for quite some time.
Unfortunately,
which is sad.
Yeah, and well, there's nothing more you can say about that. You're very correct.
She was very good at head twitching.
Yeah, and standing oddly,
awkwardly,
like
yes.
I'm an alien. Ooh. They were all doing their best. Of these alien-like gesticulations.
Like, how can people say Threshold is the worst Star Trek produced when you've got things like this? Threshold was fun.
You got Tom Paris
losing his tongue, for God's sakes.
Please answer me. Yeah. You don't understand, Captain. It's always been my dream to go warp 10 and to fascinate about old cars and the ocean.
If only I could drive old cars in the ocean.
Oh, that would be the best of both
in
worlds.
Space.
In space. How would you do that? Not important.
Well, we have a future car you could drive. No. It's got to be an old one from the 50s.
Yes, exactly. Always the 50s.
I always love how, and they did it in that episode of Voyager when, was it the season 2 opener? The 47s?
47s.
And they did it in the original series episode, the one with the Fizbin,
yeah.
What's that called?
I don't remember.
With the gangsters.
Piece of the Action?
Piece of the Action. Where people, like, Kirk is 200 years removed from cars like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that Kirk and Spock get in there and it won't go. And Spock goes, oh, I think you need to push something called a clutch. Why would you know that? Why would you know the intricacies of a 200-year-old vehicle?
No.
Just like Paris gets in this truck that they've captured floating in space, and he immediately knows, oh, it's a starter. You need a starter. Why would you fly spaceships? Why would you know this?
This happens all the time. It's
like me knowing the details and intricacies of riding a wagon. I don't know.
This happens frequently on Star Trek. They'll go onto an alien ship and then they'll start pressing their controls.
I know.
As if they understand their language or even how their systems operate.
Well, at least they paid lip service to that in Star Trek 3 when they're trying to fly away from Genesis. This. They really don't know.
No.
This or nothing. Yeah. It's great. They're totally guessing.
Mm-hmm. So the crew, and I say crew, I mean, it's Archer, Malcolm, and Hoshi that they go down to this planet.
Well, and T'Pol.
Well, it's T'Pol, yes. They go down to this planet, and they're not wearing biosuits, but they go down in a shuttle pod. They come out, and it doesn't take long. They get infected by a virus, and they start turning into these primitive-looking, Neanderthal-looking creatures. Animal things. Vicious animal things. Yeah, they do. How they end up at this planet, we weren't paying close enough attention to, because I remember I leaned over to you and said, why are they there? How did they get there? And you're like, I don't think it matters. So I was like,
no, well, I mean, I said that in all honesty because it kind of doesn't matter. Whatever reason they're there is just a MacGuffin reason anyway.
I suppose. I just like to know things.
I know. But that's how interested I am in the mechanics of the show at this point. I don't really care.
Well, I wouldn't mind if they would just stick to the plot at hand, which is the Xindi. This is a what is this?
This is a life or death situation, and I
this
can
doesn't
understand
have anything
if they
to do
were
with
in
the main
like
plot.
episode 15 and they've spent a lot of time. But
they're having a tangent already.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, did you guys literally have nothing? Not the writers.
Was this just filler? They're like,
sure feels like it.
Yeah, maybe they just threw this in there because they were coming up short.
Here we go with The Expanse again, where
they talked it up.
Yeah, where they have the scene in the little briefing room at the back of the bridge where Phlox says, "Well, in the Expanse, the physics of the universe, whatever, don't apply. Maybe the physics of human beings don't apply." Well, cool concept, but really all they did was transform into other people, and at the end, it had nothing to do with The Expanse anyway.
No,
so again, no threat.
It was a species that had gone. It was going extinct.
Yeah.
Hence the title Extinction.
Right.
And they programmed some kind of virus.
Yeah. That
was it. Like nothing.
very
You're right. Nothing to do with the Expanse. It's just
Nothing
a
at
planet
all.
in the Expanse.
Yep.
And the Expanse, as we've said, seems mostly normal.
Mostly annoying.
It's mildly inconvenient at times, but you can't call it that. You can't say mildly inconvenient. You have to call it something spooky, like the expanse, the abyss. Ooh,
the mild inconvenient ants.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like I said, to be fair, it was not as bad as Rogue Planet, or I already forgot the title.
Yeah, I know. Rogue Planet, I think, superseded.
That one was just boring. It was about nothing. Nothing happened.
Boring.
At least things happened here.
Yeah.
So it wasn't boring as this. It was just like, what's the point of this? I don't get it. And it's silly. It was silly. It's silly to see these actors that we know are good actors parade around in this makeup, and I'm like, oh, got it. Now I just feel sorry for them. What's it all for? I don't know. I mean, they're doing it because they're paid actors. I get it, but still, doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
I could not find anything redeeming about it at all. Like I just said, other than the fact that at least it had some kind of momentum that kept it going. And
but
Rogue Planet is sleep inducing. Like, it's like not.
Well, I started nodding off on this one.
It's vapor. Well, so did I, because I'm dead tired. But I was a little bit too. And I was just like, okay, please end. And I was like, just like other episodes, and we pointed out, haven't we seen this done before and done better?
Yes.
This was Identity Crisis.
This is like a hodgepodge of 2 or 3 different episodes. Identity Crisis, Inner Light.
Inner Light.
In the sense that this dying species put something out there to basically infect someone else so they would be like, know of them or be like them. So it's mostly Identity Crisis with shades of Inner Light and probably 1 or 2 others I can't even think of. But
okay. We just said it started off, we thought it was Tosk and the Breen. I mean, he is dressed like a Tosk, and it's it's very strange. That is a good episode though.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like an early DS9 Tosk. One at that.
Yeah.
I know it really comes to nothing. I mean, I could tell you what happened. I mean, eventually the crew gets cured. There's an alien species they meet that these were the fellows that were burning the unfortunate victim alive.
Right.
And for some reason they had him dressed like a evil superhero for some reason. Did you see that? He was dressed like the Flash or something from.
I didn't quite catch that.
He had like a red bodysuit on. It was very distracting.
Well, he didn't last long.
He was the. What do you mean last long?
The guy that got burned?
No. The captain of the other.
Oh.
He was wearing like this red bodysuit that looked
I
like
thought it was kind of a neat looking outfit.
It was, but it was totally out of place. It's like, shouldn't you have a cape too? I don't. I was like,
I never got a superhero vibe from it.
Oh, I did definitely.
But I'll tell you this though. I think I asked you during last week's episode, was there anything writer's room you would do? And honestly, asking my own self that question now, I have nothing, because there's nothing that you could write your way
my
out of
suggestion,
to make it interesting.
I would say
don't do
in
it.
the room, don't do it. Let's come up with something else. If we need filler, certainly there's something else we can come up with.
Yeah.
Like Rogue Planet. I mean, if I was in the writer's room and I'm looking at the board, I'm like, guys, we've got to come up with something else. I know we got 5 hours left, but I think we can do it. We can definitely do something.
Yeah.
Let's do that Shuttle Pod 2 episode, that sequel to Shuttle Pod 1. Certainly that'll be better. Come on, please. I mean, what other episodes can we rip off? I mean, come on.
I know.
Certainly we could rip off a better one.
There's got to be something better.
Well, Identity Crisis is good.
No, it is a good episode, but the episode was over,
Yeah. And it was just...
Jesus. Have sitting in a drawer somewhere in the event that they run into this where they're like, we don't have anything. Pull the drawer out and
break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, and do a prequel episode to Conspiracy.
Right.
Like bottom of the barrel, you got to do this. Do that. I mean, my God, it would take a day to break that episode. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Not hard.
I really would like to sit in there,
do a prequel episode
during one of these episode breaks and see what does it actually look like in the conception phase.
Oh, boy.
Because nobody sets out to create.
No, of course not. I do remember
garbage.
reading in one of the many Star Trek books we've had. I want to say the Deep Space Nine one where it had episodic breakdowns, And I do believe I saw in there on more than one occasion where they knew they had an episode that they didn't think entirely worked, but they knew they were too deep into the process and they had deadlines.
Can't start over.
Like they knew, but they had no choice but to continue. But on this one though, just the concept, 3 episodes into a Xindi arc.
Yeah.
This was your choice from the start.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Like with TNG specifically, like some of their clunker ones, like Imaginary Friend.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. Who thought that was a good idea? Certainly you should have known before you got too deep into that one that was going to be a bad one. Certainly.
Yeah.
But they went ahead anyway.
Maybe that was one where they gave the main writers the week off and they let the C team come in and write.
Like at least A Fistful of Datas, which is, I think, a bad episode, at least on the surface, like when you pitch it, like that could be fun. Yeah.
Sure. And you're saying to yourselves, we're going to get Brent Spiner and he's going to play all these characters because he's goofy.
Right.
And, and all that. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
And then you get Patrick Stewart directing. I'll get to have my best friend, Brent Spiner.
Yeah. So imagine this. Yeah. So the crew goes down to a planet and they get turned into vicious animal things. Yeah. Where do we go?
Then what happens?
Then what? Well, they run around and they wave their arms around hysterically and then they get turned back to normal.
Do they fight anyone?
Sort of, yeah.
Who?
Well, the crew of the Enterprise.
Like they bludgeon them and things like that?
No. I mean, they kind of just like make grunting noises and stuff and they jump around.
Do they at least mate with each other and produce some sort of weird alien offspring?
No, but I mean, it could be between the lines.
Is this episode going to be any good? No. And no, you're going to be so surprised when you figure it out. If you ever do.
Is it a Romulan plot? Is it a plot? It's not a war. So, yeah, where did it go wrong? Obviously, from its first sentence.
From the inception.
Yeah, they were just... Maybe they were really under deadline. I can appreciate that.
Ill-conceived from the start.
From the start, yeah. They just... Yeah. I don't think they had a choice because I don't think anybody would choose to make this.
Well, they did. They did.
Is there anything else you want to say about this one? I've got nowhere to go.
I honestly,
I was glad when it was over.
So was I.
It was nice to see Malcolm get to do something. He got to be on the bridge. He got to take command for a little bit.
You mean...
Oh, I'm sorry, not Mayweather. Not Malcolm. Yeah. Malcolm was a vicious animal thing. Yeah, Mayweather was up on the bridge.
But even that, nothing came of it.
Well, at least it was something. Like we just said that Hoshi got to do something, the actress. And so this actor got to do something too. So that was nice.
Even the Makos, they had some Makos come down with them. They didn't do anything.
Was one of those Makos that reoccurring actor that shows up in Star Trek?
Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah.
He shows up. I think more times as one of the Makos.
He shows up in a lot of things, like over the years.
He was in that really good Voyager episode, Blink of an Eye. That was him, and then he ended up on
Katana Retz. That was his character's name.
Yes, and Katana then he ends up on a Babylon 5 spin-off series, Crusades.
Yeah,
Crusaders.
He like pops up in things randomly over the years, and he's a good actor.
He's got a great face.
He's just one of those actors that brings it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Like, why? Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like Callum Keith Renee. He'll just show up.
I never get tired of Callum Keith
It's Renee. Whatever. It just shows up and he knocks it out of the park every time without breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
okay.
easy.
He's like, he can do Memento and then turn around and do Battlestar Galactica and then CSI or something. It doesn't matter.
And
it's
then
like
Californication.
That's right.
Where he's like a rock star and you're like, you never
you buy it. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Second.
Yeah. He's nothing like the character in Battlestar Galactica. It's whatever.
Nope.
So, I know it's the same actor though. You're like, it's amazing.
But I never think of it.
No. So unfortunately, Daniel Day Kim didn't even have any lines. He was just there in the background.
Did he not speak once?
No, I thought that was him in the back of the shuttle pod.
Jeez.
Why you bring him on there and not give him anything to do? It's like having Colin Meaney on there and not give him anything to do.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
okay.
Is Daniel Day Kim Colin Meaney?
Well, I mean, this was in his earlier days, and when Colin Meaney was showing up in the earlier days of TNG, they would give him a little bit to do here and there.
Yeah.
So, more so than just the usual extras that would man the
True
transporter console.
Yeah, like somehow they knew that there was something special with Colin Meaney.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, and of course, his character explodes after.
I think with Colin Meaney, I clearly they could tell he was a good actor. When that happened, when they decided to give him like his own episode with like the Wounded.
Well,
when
after
did that
that
happen?
His character explodes.
Where did that when did that happen? Like, you don't just give a reoccurring minor character his own episode like that for nothing. So,
I would wager that Colin Meaney was probably still working like in things across the pond, where I know he's done a lot of work. Like, he showed up in Layer Cake and he was great, you know, as a gangster. So, you know, he's still producing work, and I'm sure someone saw, dude, you know, this guy we've got over here just pressing buttons in the background? He's phenomenal.
You know, he played a pilot in Die Hard 2.
Yeah, come on. I mean, like, someone had to realize, like, this guy's got something.
Yeah. So back to Extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to grade it, since unless you wanted to discuss any of other of its points.
I've got nothing else.
Okay.
So
I know where I'm leaning. I know where I'm going.
I'm going to give it a D.
Me too. Yeah, D. It's not an F. Because
a D for doesn't need to exist.
Very, very, very true. Does not need to exist. It's not an F, like I'm sure we gave Rogue Planet.
Right.
But this is a D. This is just unacceptable, man. It's tough. TUPH. It's like, come on. I ripped that off from Sky Highs. I just saw it a couple of days ago. Yeah, it's a D.
I agree.
Yeah, I might be willing to give it a D plus for the actors throwing it all into that performance of moving their arms around wildly.
That's the only thing that keeps it from an F.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a D. Alternate title. I think you coined it. A quantum leap back.
A quantum leap back.
Quantum leap back.
Quantum leap in quality back.
Right. So yeah, this no writer's room. There's no ideas. Nothing would save this.
Yeah. There's no fun to be had.
No.
With that. No.
Well, we did hear from Marie, who's our other honorary member, along with Sebastian. I had emailed Marie and let her know that we were back. And this is how she responded. Wow, I'm glad to hear you're back. Thought you fell into a black hole or something. Unfortunately, I'm already to episode 15, Harbinger, and I don't see myself going back to rewatch. But I'm still happy to send you in my perspective from time to time. Side note, I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude for the incredible work you do on From There to Here. Learning that you're also teachers adds a layer of appreciation, as it's clear how much effort and passion you put into sharing valuable knowledge and insights with your listeners. Your episodes have been a source of enjoyment for me, and I can tell that your background in education shines through in the way you break down complex topics and engage with your audience. Thank you for creating such an impactful and thoughtful space. Wishing you continued success, both in your teaching and podcasting journeys. Warm regards, Marie. Well, I really hope she does. Drop in from time to time.
Well, I certainly hope
catch up with this. I've always loved Marie's
even if she just comments on the episode, from the week before.
I've always loved hearing from Marie, her observations. She's very funny. I told her I thought what she had sent last week was hilarious. Well, she had sent it like months ago, but what we read last week about her review of the Zindi, I think, was hilarious. And you asked me, are you like adding this intonation to the email, or is it actually? I was like, no, it's her.
It's implied.
So Sebastian wrote back. I let him know we had returned, and I had asked him like, hey, we're going to record soon today. Do you want to add something for Extinction? He replied very quickly. So thank you, Sebastian.
Awesome.
So he writes, cool, you're back. Season 3, Episode 3, Extinction. Number 1, I could barely enjoy the episode because I was so offended by the depiction of the away team as monkey-like jungle aliens, animal things. That was way too much. That way too much resemble the racist stereotype of primitive, uncivilized savages. Does it?
I don't know.
Okay. Besides, it's just awkward. I agree, it's awkward.
Well, yeah, no argument there.
Yeah. I wonder if the episode would have worked better if they had simply turned them into something different.
I don't
That's
think
a question. I mean,
made a shit's bit of difference.
Yeah, no.
Turn
them into what?
the concept of the episode was flawed from the beginning. So I'd say no.
Maybe if they turned them into TV show writers that are trying to come up with a better idea for this episode, maybe
they should have another episode they could have had in the drawer was like that episode of Growing Pains, where Ben falls asleep and he finds out it's all a TV show.
Yeah, and he goes on the set and he's a weenie.
He meets the director, and all that. Just have some weird out of body show where we don't connect it to the main plot of the series at all. Why not?
Sure. Yeah. At that point, when Extinction is one of your series episodes, you're like, maybe we should just do anything we want now because clearly we've run out of ideas. Number 2, he writes, the architecture of the aliens' lost city looks clearly Aztec. However, the species who created the virus must have been a high-tech society. That doesn't fit. Or am I missing something? No, I agree. Yeah. It did look very, it did.
Well,
it did, definitely. It did look Aztec. It looked very ancient Earth.
It looked far too advanced for people that seem to be
very primitive
and savage-like.
Yeah, it did seem to be like... I was thinking, I don't know, he said Aztec. I thought for some reason Greece came to mind when I looked at it. And I thought of, this looked like a more civilized species, but they were clearly like not civilized. They didn't seem to be. They were just like hopping around and grunting and eating worms. I was like, okay. They would be building these columns, like
multi-level buildings and all of that. Underground, no less. That would be quite an undertaking.
Yeah, that was a bit... That didn't seem to make sense. I agree. But since the episode stunk so bad, I didn't consider it for more than a few seconds. Right. Number 3. Did you guys also think Hoshi and T'Pol should have swapped roles in that episode?
Wouldn't have made a difference.
I agree. So,
to what end?
Yeah, to what end? Yeah, I don't think it mattered who would have turned into a vicious animal thing at that point.
No, I don't think so.
No, it wouldn't have saved the episode.
Not at all. Wouldn't have changed anything.
No.
At least it gave Linda Park something to do.
That's true. T'Pol seemed unusually hesitant, fragile, and intimidated.
The word we use is
constipated. Constipated. And she was trying to translate a foreign language. That sounds so much like Hoshi, so that's his reason.
Oh, I see.
So all the best, Sebastian. Yeah, I think he makes a point there. Yeah, she was trying to decipher the language, I suppose. It wouldn't have mattered. The episode would have been that they probably would have written the lines the same way for Linda Park that they did for Blaylock, the same way. And it wouldn't have made a difference. I mean, she may have played it a little differently, but at this point, does it really fit their, it fits this character so much more. When an episode's this bad, I don't care. The ship has sailed. Like it's gone over. It's gone over the waterfall and it's crashed. It's done. Over the barrel on the Niagara Falls. It's over.
Right.
Dead. So thanks, Sebastian. Appreciated your insight, and thank you for getting back to us so quickly with some observations and questions about this episode. So. Hopefully some of the folks that had written to us over those few months were on hiatus will write us back, because I have written all of them back, hoping that they will share their insights and become a regular listener like Marie and Sebastian have. Mm-hmm. So I hope to hear from you. Justin, is there anything else you'd like to add? Oh, wait, what's next?
That's what I was just looking up.
Or wasn't it like a girl's name?
Yeah, Rajin.
Yeah. Doesn't she go like, my name is Rajin?
I don't remember.
And like
that.
all the dudes want to.
I remember she was very attractive.
Yes.
And all of that.
Yeah,
a former slave girl.
There's something like, it's not like
she's not an Orion.
Yeah, you're thinking of the motion picture. Oh no, I was thinking of the motion picture.
No, I was thinking of
Ilea.
No, actually, I was thinking of the season 4 episode where they encounter Orion slave girls, like 3 of them. Yeah. And all the guys are going absolutely bananas over these girls. And I don't think it was quite to this extent in Rajin, but I remember everyone was drawn to her.
Right. Do they see, like, don't they see what they want in her? Is that something she does?
I do not remember.
Or am I thinking of a different one?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't, in my memory, the impression I have is that it's not a stinker, but I'm not thinking it's a knockout of the park either. So maybe it's an in-between.
I feel like that's my memory too.
Yeah.
I'm not going into it with trepidation, so there's that.
Yeah.
I think I have revisited this episode over the years.
Maybe. Yeah, I know I've seen this one more than once. Extinction, definitely not.
Yeah.
It's like first time is enough. Sorry, once is enough. No more. No.
And how many of these episodes have we come across where I would say I'll never go back to that? Mm-hmm. Just never.
Yeah, I mean some that are even just halfway decent, like Marauders or something. It's like
I won't go back. I'll go and find an episode that does that same thing better, is what I'll do.
Right. Or the TNG that they ripped off.
Exactly.
Like, I'll just go watch Identity Crisis.
I mean, they've got episodes that rip off Voyager.
Yeah.
I mean, you're ripping off the bastard child of the franchise.
Right.
You got a problem.
Didn't they call DS9 the bastard child, not Voyager?
Yeah, probably is. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, which one is? I know this is subjective, but which one? DS9 or Voyager?
Which one is the bastard stepchild?
No, which one is better?
Which one is better? Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
But Voyager is still very enjoyable. Honestly, they're apples and oranges.
Well, we it's often called TNG Light, so it's like Diet Coke.
It is and it isn't. I think Voyager gets unfairly maligned. I think it started as Voyager, as TNG Light, but as the series progressed, I feel like it had its own feel that was distinctive from TNG, and I think when it really found its footing and its voice, it's really quite enjoyable.
I won't disagree with you on that one. I think I
think you can make the same argument for Deep Space Nine. Like the first 2 seasons feel like TNG.
Yeah, they didn't know where to go.
Yeah, and then they were like, we can't do those same episodes.
Let's bring Q on.
Yeah, like you can't do that.
No.
But then once they realized, no, this is what the show is, and they committed to it. Just like with Voyager,
that DS9 really took advantage of its premise, which is we have 100%. All of these reoccurring characters because we can reuse them because we don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're always here.
Yeah.
And so it creates these deeper threads throughout the whole series, and you really get to know these side characters, like Garrick especially,
right.
And Wei Yun, like all of these characters, even like Rom too.
Rom.
Like starts off as an idiot, then he becomes a genius.
Yeah.
He's a savant. It's like you didn't get that kind of stuff on TNG.
Were you always this smart? Yes, I just lacked self-esteem.
It's like on TNG, we never really find out much about the nurse. What's her name?
Ogawa.
Nurse Ogawa. She gets an episode.
That actress died recently?
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, she was like, I think the thing I read said she was like in her 70s.
When she died?
Yeah. Like, how the hell does that happen?
She was that old?
It didn't look like it. Like, how is that possible? I don't see the math. Unless she was older than she looked on TNG.
Well, I mean, she could have been, maybe she was like mid-30s when she was doing that.
I mean, she could have been like 71 or 72.
Maybe she looked young because she was such a small woman.
She just has one of those faces.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but good Lord. So sad.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always very cute.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, that's too bad, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I liked about Voyager, though, is, like Deep Space Nine leaned into its concept that they have these recurring characters. Voyager leaned into they're a family.
Yeah.
And the tone, Janeway's tone changed, and she became kind of like an angry mama bear a lot of the time.
Yeah. Maybe we should tie this back into Enterprise because that's what this podcast is about. Because what are we saying here is that Enterprise just doesn't have its own character yet.
It doesn't. Even when they're trying to do this, they're failing.
Right. I think by the time they do get to 4,
I'm looking forward to 4 because I know that's where 4
they
really
do start
cool.
to develop a little bit of a character in terms of its feel.
Yeah.
It's its own thing, but it shouldn't take 4 seasons to get there.
Not. They were desperately trying to give Archer some teeth.
They were doing better with some moments in season 2.
Yeah.
But now it feels like, what are they trying to do here? Like,
I don't think they know.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because they were desperate and they're like, well, let's just roll the dice and try this season long thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll work. I mean, it's easy to be an armchair critic now in retrospect.
Sure, of course.
But at the time, it may have seemed like a very bold move.
The season-long arc probably was, but in the middle of a big season-long arc like that, when you have a Western episode, I think you got to recognize that you're in trouble.
God, I just remember that one now. It's called North Star, isn't it? Oh, God. Okay, fine. They're like, we've got this Western set on the Paramount lot. We have to use it.
Yeah.
How are we going to make that work? Doesn't matter.
Figure it out.
But we're in the Expanse. I don't care. Just write it in there somehow.
Yeah.
God.
Make it a dream sequence or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like every Star Trek series has to have its Western episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. TOS had gunfight on the OK Corral.
Yeah, was it not
Spectre of the Gun?
Spectre of the Gun, and then TNG had Fistful of Datas.
Yeah.
Did DS9 have a Western?
No, but they had a baseball episode.
That's true.
And they had a hotel heist episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But no Western episode.
Voyager had a World War II episode.
Yes.
Which was kind of like weird, but
right.
The Hirogen dressed up as Nazis.
That was like so desperate to try and come up with like a different setting.
Yeah.
You know, like, good Lord. They turned the whole ship into a holodeck. Are you
serious?
serious?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Like, really. You're that desperate for a setting?
Right.
Just go shoot out in Vasquez Rocks like everybody else does.
Sure.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So, Regine, is that what it's called? Regine. Okay. Well, here's to Regine. I sure hope you're better than Extinction. See you next time.
Bye.